Hello, everybody. Been very busy lately, behind on a lot of work. So, you know, sometimes I make these videos just to keep myself focused. Anyway, without further ado, it is week 14. We're in the home stretch of the season already. And while it hasn't been that ideal for my Bears, in some ways it has, though. Fields is broken out. We've seen enough from him. I got a bright future. Got a lot to build forward to. Our draft pick keeps getting better. I mean, at this point, even if we win a game or two, we should still have a top 10 pick as long as the other teams, they'll probably, looking at some of these teams' schedules, um, they should be able to squeak by a win. The Rams, I forgot, Thursday night, whatever, pulled off a crazy comeback that probably saved Baker Mayfield's career. Um, so good for them. That helps our draft positioning a lot. Guarantees us a top three pick if we lose out, but I hope we win one more game. So without further ado, here's the schedule. Let's take a quick look at the playoff picture, though. Bills are on top of a 1% chance. The only real chance they have of missing out on the playoffs really is if they lose out. Maybe Josh Allen gets injured or whatever, a few injuries. Um, but at this point, um, at, at this point, it's pretty much they got it in the bag, pretty much. They just got to get one or two more wins. And looking at their schedule, they're playing against the Bears and they're playing against the Patriots. But other than that, they don't have the easiest schedule. So maybe I don't know if they can win their division, but but not. They pretty much got locked up. Chiefs, they're pretty much guaranteed to win their division at this point. Um, yeah, and they can clinch if the Chargers lose to the Dolphins, which is very possible, and the Chiefs beat the Broncos, which is even more possible. They can clinch and be the first team to clinch the playoffs, I believe, depending on the timing. I believe multiple teams will clinch. Ravens, 10%, but it's not looking that good for them. But they aren't. I still think they will be able to secure a wild card spot, though. But the Bengals are looking pretty complete, and the Ravens are down Lamar Jackson for pretty much the rest of the season, so it may be a little rough, but I still think they can make it. Titans, they're gonna make it by default, because they're in a really weak, uh, terrible division, where even if they lost out, they still have a realistic chance if the Colts keep losing games. So they can literally go 8 and 9 and pretty much guaranteed because they play in a terrible division. It's pretty much a gimme. Bengals also looking good. Dolphins also looking good. Two good teams. And the Jets, the seventh seed, is really the only one still up in air. The Jets, after starting off really promising with a 5-2 record, have gone 2-3 since. Two terrible losses to and then a rough loss against the Vikings. So it's not that they lost to bad teams. They blew out my Bears without Justin Fields, and they beat a really good Bills team. But looking at their schedule, so they lose to the Bills, but lose to the yeah. So Jets, little iffy there. And then let's go to the NFC. Eagles have basically clinched. If you're looking at this, they can literally tie. All they do is tie and they clinch. So at this point, it's like, yeah, you're guaranteed. Vikings, same thing pretty much. If they win, they clinch. 49ers, you're looking like potentially they're looking like the NFC West champs. Yeah, Buccaneers. Don't not so sure about them. If they keep this momentum going, yeah, but Falcons are right on their tail with a out there but realistic shot. Packers, their season's pretty much over. But the Lions and Seahawks are in there. These two are in for the. These three teams are in the seventh seed push, and this team and this team are well alive for the final, the fourth seed. And then of course Saints, Rams, Bears, we're pretty much eliminated. Bears are actually eliminated. Anyway, that is the current playoff picture. Now let's get into the predictions. Um, we're gonna be starting off with. Oh yeah, my Bears are on a bye, so yeah, kind of sucks. Don't get to predict my Bears. Don't get to watch my Bears tomorrow. Sucks. Anyway, Jaguars Titans. This might be interesting. This might be interesting. The Titans lost two straight against two good teams, and the Jags are coming off an absolute blowout at home. I don't think it's going to be a really clean win. I think the Jags are going to put up a fight, but I'm going to go with the Titans to win 31-20. Um, what's next? What's next? Let's do this one. Oh, this one. Dallas is coming off a absolute scorigami trouncing of the Indianapolis Colts on primetime. And the Texans are the worst team in the league. I think this is going to be a total massacre. I think this will put up a record number of blowouts. This will be like a world record. Give me the Cowboys 61-23. Texans put up some garbage time stats. And I'll even add in an intentional safety. Next up, let's go in order now from there, and then we'll finish off this game because that's my game of the week right there. Jets, Bills. This is at Buffalo. The Bills are coming off a good win against the rival. Three straight wins actually. They won three straight after dropping two. And one of those that should not have happened. That was a really bad as a fluke loss by the Bills, but at the end of the day, a loss is a loss. Doesn't matter if it's by 1 point or 50. So, while the Jets are getting a little bit of steam, I think this win will. I don't think they're going to win this one, but I still think they're well within the playoff conversation. Even if it's not the case, they it's a good season for them. But I still think they can probably squeeze out that seventh seed if they can just stay on their toes. So, without further ado, I'm gonna say 29-23. Bills win. Next up, Browns, Bengals. The Browns have dominated the rivalry between the Bengals for a while now. Don't know why, but it just seems that way, you know. Um, but at home with a game this important for playoff positioning, to where pretty much one or two wins can guarantee at least a wild card spot. I just don't see them losing this one. Give me the Bengals to win a close one, probably off a game-winning field goal, 33-29. I know, to 30. Another great division rivalry: Pittsburgh Steelers, Ravens, a classic. What was that throw? I'm watching the Army Navy game right now. But yeah, Ravens, Steelers. Great, historic, not really historic, but it's a great rivalry. Um, At Heinz Field. I still call it Heinz Field. I don't even remember what the new name is. Azure or whatever. I don't really care. But but it's a good matchup. Part of me wants to go Steelers, but they just been winning ugly games. And I feel like this is going to be the first game they win that isn't ugly. They got a little bit of they got a little bit of energy with the bye, and Mike Tomlin will always find a way to not have a losing season, even if it's 8-1. Give me the Steelers to win a decent game at home, 27-24. Next up, Chiefs Broncos at 3 o'clock. The Chiefs are coming off a rough loss to the Bengals, and they got a fairly easy schedule the rest of the way. But something about this game, I'm probably wrong, but just there is something about this game and this game in particular that just there's something about it. Um, and I think the Broncos are gonna win. I don't know why. It's just I feel like this is gonna be probably the best game the Broncos have. It's probably gonna be the best game Broncos have had since winning the Super Bowl because they've not beaten this team since what 2015? Yeah, I think 2015. I got them shocking the Chiefs after the defense goes all out 20 to 19. Next up, Miami Dolphins versus the Chargers. The Chargers, they're 6-6. It's been a disappointing it's been a disappointing year for them. They were 3 one 1-2, 2-2, 3-2, 4-2. Yeah, they were 4-2 at one point, and 4-3, 5-3. And they lost these two, and they've been 1-3 since barely beating the lowly Falcons. Yeah, against a hot Miami Dolphins team, which is coming off a rough loss. Give me the Dolphins to bounce back versus the Chargers in a revenge game and a get right game. 30-20. Then you got the Patriots and the Cardinals coming off a bye at home against the Patriots, who coming off a rough loss. I think they're 4-8. They were 11-5 last season. I don't think they can possibly be that bad. But it's I think an upset happens. A lot of home teams are winning this week. Holy shit. Um, but give me the Cardinals to win an ugly game, 23 to 22, probably off a game-winning field goal. Next up, Eagles, Giants. This game's gonna be good. Giants need this game. They have they are 0-2-1 since week 10, and they're 1-2-1 since the bye. And before that, they lost by 2 touchdowns to the Seahawks. But before that, they won 4 straight. They started off 6-1, and since then they've gone 1-3-1. So they gotta right the ship because their only win was a one possession home win coming off a bye versus the lowly Texans. So it's not like they had an impressive win against the Chiefs or the Bills or the Eagles or something. But against the Eagles at even at home after that performance against the Titans, I don't see it happening. I just don't. Ooh. So give me the Eagles to win this one 29-22. And we got the Bucks versus the 49ers. Um, the Bucks are coming off that crazy win on Monday Night Football. But I think Brock Purdy is going to prove himself as a competent quarterback at home, even if Brock Purdy. Give me the Niners offense to just carry Brock to a not an easy victory, but a simple victory. 27-23. And then the Seahawks versus the Panthers coming off a bye. Seahawks are never one of these teams that really kind of, as of late, they're 1-2. But they have been putting up great offense. The Panthers are not a good team. Look at 42-37. I just don't see the Panthers winning this game. But let's look at their schedule quickly. Looking at their schedule, I think they probably can win 2 games, 2 more games. But I don't think that's gonna be one. I think they'll put up a fight. I'll say let's say 23 to 33. And then finally, the game of the week. This game I'm excited for. I really am. The Vikings and the Lions. Two teams. Vikings have a chance to go into Detroit and clinch their first NFC North championship in half a decade. The Lions have a chance to beat a division rival and go into a stretch of, to be honest, incredibly winnable games. Besides maybe the Jets. Even then, I think they could. Looking at their schedule, they play the Jets, possible. Panthers, very possible. Bears, mm, tough game with Justin Fields. If not Justin Fields, then yeah. And then Packers at home, winnable. So they got a very good stretch of games coming up. And the Vikings, looking at them, they have a chance to clinch a playoff berth. And looking at their schedule, they can they could potentially win out and go 15-2. But since this is at home, and I am a believer in momentum, this Lions team has won three. Actually, no, they are 4-1 since they got rid of T.J. Hawkinson and they lost. They started off the season terrible. Ugly, ugly 9-point win against the Commanders, but a blowout versus the Eagles that they made look good in garbage time. Tough loss to the Vikes. Scorigami, awesome garbage time duel. A shutout loss to the Pats. They get back on their bye, only put up 6 points against the Cowboys. Decent game against the Dolphins. And then they beat the Packers. They beat the Bears off a Miss Santos extra point. We should have won that game. They blew out the Giants. They lost a very good game against the Bills, and then they blew out the Jags. I am gonna pick the Lions to win this. I think they have momentum on their side. I think they are gonna go into this game with the mindset of we need to win this. This is the type of win that could spark it. Like even if they make the playoffs, I don't think they're gonna do anything. Maybe they might win a game at best, but it's like this is the type of win that people will talk about for a while, and I think they're gonna get it tomorrow. Give me the Lions to win in an absolute thriller game of the year, a complete offensive showcase, 42-38. And that is my weekly predictions. A lot of teams are on their bye. Why? Bye week shouldn't be this late. I mean, looking at the schedule, well, 4 out of 6 of these teams 4 out of 6 of these teams are eliminated, not eliminated, but they're pretty much out of the playoff race, and the Bears are actually literally eliminated from the playoff race. Bye weeks are supposed to help, teams pushing for the playoffs to rest and recuperate. It doesn't help when we're 3-9 going into the 3-10 going into the bye week, and even if we win out, all that would do is hurt our draft stock big time. It's like, what is this bye week gonna help us? So we can lose instead of losing 48-20, we lose 48-30 versus the Eagles and Bills. Looking at the schedule, I think these two games are winnable, and we'll probably only win one of them, and it's probably gonna be Week 18. Finish the season for dub, I guess. But other than that, that's pretty much it. See ya.